Well, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Angela Shelton, and I am that filmmaker that went around the country and I made the movie Searching for Angela Shelton. And I made it simply as a study and a way to survey women in America. I drove around the country in an RV with a crew of 4, and I just interviewed other women who shared my name, other Angela Sheltons, and it ranged from one who lived on a golf course and didn't work and was a leisure technologist, as she called herself, to one who managed a Taco Bell. They were 48 years old to 22 years old, and all socioeconomic backgrounds, and they were African American, white, and there was even a Muslim, Angela Shelton, who was half African American and Caucasian, and she was a Muslim and had 8 kids. So it was a really wide variety of women all over the country, from Washington State to Florida to New York City, all across the South to California. And I was surveying them, just seeing who are you, where have you been, and where are you going? Well, guess what? 70%, 28 out of 40 Angela Sheltons had been victims of child sexual abuse, rape, and domestic violence. And it really blew my mind, and it actually affected me personally when I met an Angela Shelton who was tracking sexual predators, and she happened to live in the same town as my own father, who is my abuser, and we arrived on Father's Day. So that's one of those, like, whoa. So, you know, I have come to definitely believe that everything happens for a reason, and I think all of you are in that audience for a reason. What I've noticed with survivors, because I started speaking, I started traveling the country, I've actually spoken to, in person, maybe 20,000 survivors. I've gotten over 50,000 emails. I have been one-on-one with countless survivors, more than any therapist could ever imagine, like, even if you had 20 years in a practice. And I have seen recurring patterns with them. And first of all, this is not a women's issue. This is a people problem. I have heard from literally thousands of men who have been abused and sodomized and raped and tortured. This is an epidemic. I had no idea. I was completely naive when I started making this movie, when I started interviewing survivors. I had no idea to the extent that the abuse is going on. And everybody knows somebody, as everybody who's sitting out there knows, everybody knows somebody. And whether you know them or not, whether it's the girl who you pick up your dry cleaning from every day, or the girl who serves you coffee every day, or the man who just drove you in the taxi. It really blew my mind, and it continues to blow my mind, but it has lit a it has lit a fire under me that is unstoppable, really. Because what happened is, not only did making this movie make me change my whole life and make me face the fact that I was sick, I had recurring health problems, I had psychological problems that I wasn't dealing with, I was a self-mutilator, I wasn't a cutter, but I would beat myself up from like age 8 to, 4 years ago, and I had no idea that I was not the only one. Making this project really confirmed that not only am I not the only one, but we are at epidemic proportions here. This is pandemic. We have to unify, and we have to declare war. This is, peace and love, and love to everyone. I know that, but we're at war and we're kicking butt. So what happened for me is I got better. Dealing with all these survivors, I actually healed myself, and I got better, and my health problems went away, and I no longer self-abuse. I used to beat the crap out of myself, and any survivor sitting out there, because I know you're out there, knows what I mean. I hated myself. My recurring thought patterns in my head were, you piece of crap, you worthless, you're unlovable, you're ugly. And meanwhile, I was modeling, and I was on the cover of magazines making loads of money, like, as a model. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I had the piece of crap dialogue in my head that I am a worthless piece of crap. And I didn't even realize I was doing that until I started making this film, and then traveling and speaking to survivors and realizing that we're all doing the same thing. We all are like floating alone in these little bubbles, thinking that we're completely alone and we're the only ones. And meanwhile, there's, 60 million of us or something. And we need to collect, which is what's happening and why you're here today. We need to collect and unify and actually start healing everyone and then kicking butt. I'm very much into the healing, just so you know, and I'm also very much into the kicking the butt, because that's how we stop it. So we're not going to talk about that right now. All I can say to you is just never give up. Never, ever, ever give up. Those are those days when you just want to just go drive your car off a cliff because you're like, oh my God, I can't believe the extent of the abuse. And then you start finding out about the child porn rings and how they're trafficking these kids. And oh God, and I mean, I know these people. I know them. They're in my cell phone. That have been tortured and violated, and they're perpetrators, groups of perpetrators, are trafficking child porn, and they're trafficking kids, and they're rich. They're getting richer by the minute as we're all like flailing around trying not to kill ourselves, you know, the survivors in crisis. The perpetrators are organized. They're getting richer by the minute. And that's why I'm so glad that we're organizing. They're ahead of us, but we're quickly catching up. And all I can say to you is never give up.